You're not bad on camera. You may just be using the wrong style. Now, I'm talking about 4 options to try: teleprompter, full script, bullet points, or off the cuff. Let's figure out which one actually fits you. Now, I'm going to start by talking about the teleprompter and using a script. This is a teleprompter, and I'm going to do it by using the teleprompter and reading word for word. Tell me what you think. You're not bad on camera. You might just be using the wrong style. For a lot of people, the right style is using a teleprompter, and that doesn't make you fake. It's simply a screen that shows your script while you look toward the camera, so you're not trying to memorize everything or stare down at your notes. You write what you want to say, the words scroll, and you read them while keeping fairly natural eye contact. That's all it is, a tool that takes pressure off your memory so you can focus on your style. Teleprompter style is great if you forget your points, ramble, or feel calmer when you know exactly what's coming next. It really shines for tutorials, step-by-step content, or topics where wording matters. The big wins are you stay on track, you usually save time in editing because you're not wandering, and you often sound more confident because you're not searching for words every few seconds. Most of the teleprompters look fake complaints come from using them badly. The fix is simple. First, write like you talk. Short sentences, simple words, contractions, and a conversational tone. If it feels weird to say it out loud, rewrite it. Second, slow the scroll speed down so you can speak comfortably and leave some pauses. If you couldn't say it at the speed over coffee with a friend, it's too fast. Third, don't cram huge paragraphs on the screen. Break your script into short lines with space between ideas so you can move smoothly. To test if this style fits you, write a short 60 to 90 second script. Say it out loud as you go, then drop it into a teleprompter app. Make the text big, slow the speed down. Place the screen as close to the lens as possible and record in small sections instead of one long take. Ask yourself, do you feel calmer when you know exactly what to say? And do I get frustrated when I lose my train of thought? Now, if that's you, a teleprompter style is worth trying. It gives you structure and control so you can stop worrying about remembering things line by line and start focusing on delivering your message clearly. Now, I read that word for word off an Elgato teleprompter with a camera behind it. There were a few little glitches where I stopped. I only read it through in practice one time, and then I just pressed record and read it. How did you like it? That is a teleprompter style. Now, I didn't use teleprompter software. What I did was I took a Google Doc and pulled it onto the screen, and then I just had my hand on the mouse and just moved it down a little bit at a time. Although I said in the narrative, I said, don't use long paragraphs. I was actually reading long paragraphs, and maybe you could tell. But how is that for a presentation, and did you get the point of it all? Reading a fully written script on a screen may or may not be for you. It can feel robotic. It can be news anchorish. If you don't practice. And prepping a full script can be time consuming. Best use cases, tutorials with next steps or video where wording matters, so to speak. Now, the second option is script on paper. Same script on paper. People do this. You're not bad on camera. You just might be using the long. You're not bad on camera. You just might be using the wrong style. For a lot of people, the right style is using a teleprompter. Now, I can't do this. Some people can go down. I actually have a good friend who will look at something, and then he'll pop up and he'll just say it. And 90% of it will be dead on. And he'll say 2 or 3 sentences, then he'll go down, and he'll look back up and he'll go down. I can't do that. Totally not my style. Now, the pros of this is you don't have to buy a teleprompter. There's no tech required. It's just pen and paper, so to speak. It feels more familiar and safe for people who are used to notes or used to doing speeches. And you can mark it up. You can highlight keywords. You can add emphasis. You can do all of those things. But there's some pitfalls to it as well. There's a lot of looking down. And that means probably more editing. You break eye contact with the viewer. You may be tempted to read instead of talking to the camera. It takes time to handwrite, so to speak, I guess. It can be distracting if you shuffle papers or lose your place. Best use case? Storytime videos, sharing a personal story with key beats, or maybe complex explanations. Maybe complex explanations where you want to avoid rambling. And I have a problem with rambling. The best part about having a problem with rambling is knowing that I ramble, as I'm doing right now, maybe. Will it work? It might work for you. Doesn't work for me. I can't do it. The third is bullet points only. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking at bullet points. Now I'm looking at bullet points on my notes, on the teleprompter, but I'm not necessarily reading them. So I could have short notes, bullet points right there, and I could go down, look at a bullet point, come up, talk about it, look down, come up, talk about it. I know people that do YouTube videos that have bullet points. They've just written down their ideas on a couple of cards, and they talk to the camera, they check their notes, they talk to the camera, and they've gotten good at it so that it's more natural and conversational. And this is what I try to do when I'm away from my desk and the whole studio type thing. This is what I try to do is I just take the bullet points and then I talk about them. It sounds more natural, sounds more conversational. It gives room for personality, humor, stories, faster prep than writing a full script. And it's easier to adjust mid-video if you want to skip a point or add a point. Now, the cons or the pitfalls, it's easy to ramble and go off on tangents, which sometimes is not a bad thing, but sometimes it could be. And you might forget important details if your bullets are too vague. And editing can take longer if you repeat yourself or you're wandering. You want to get rid of those things. Best use cases is it takes practice. It works best on opinion videos, 3 things I wish I knew before starting a YouTube channel, stuff like that, or motivational or encouragement content, or recurring segments where you already know the topic very, very well. That's where it works. One main idea per bullet. Boom. So arrange the bullets like this: hook, problem, steps, example, summary. Done. So that's kind of the third point. Let's take a look at the fourth point, off the cuff. Let me tell you what happened today. Hit record, you talk, you rely on your knowledge. This is where I get in a lot of trouble personally. I will ramble and ramble and ramble. It's not a good look. The pros for this are maximum authenticity and personality. Now, when you look at the spectrum from script to reading a script on paper to bullet points to completely off the cuff, that goes from the least authentic to the most authentic. And right now, off the cuff, most authentic. It feels like a real conversation with the viewer. There's no prep time writing. You just have the idea and you go with it. It's great for creators who think out loud easily, and you can create magical, unexpected moments that you never thought to write down in the first place. Now, the pitfalls. There's a high chance of rambling, repeating, or losing your main point. There's more ums and ahs and pauses and restarts. Let me do this again, which means more editing time. And it can feel scary for beginners. What if my mind goes blank? It happens. Harder to stay under a specific video length, because if you're just going off the cuff, you don't know whether it's going to be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 15 minutes. And man, talk about editing. So best use case, you're going to rant, you're going to do a hot take, it's a reaction video, Q&A videos where you're answering viewers' questions. That's pretty good. That's a good use case there. And topics you've already talked about many, many times in real life. Here's how to make it safe. You have an opening line, 3 main points, closing line, boom. Now already you've gone from off the cuff and you've leaned back into bullet points, just the minimalist bullet points. So there's some crossover between all of them, as you can see. But you have a mental checklist, first, second, third. And if you mess up, you pause, you take a breath, you start the sentence again. Editing will fix it. So there's the 4 different styles. Now, which one are you? I've done this in front of a teleprompter in my office, and I've given all the points. And basically, I've used bullet points. I've looked through them. Some of the bullet points I've read word for word, and some of them I have not. Some of them I went off just a little bit, which is fine. but at least I got my points down. So what I'm practicing is doing them off cards away from the office. That's what I'm working on. And please understand, using a teleprompter and reading word for word, you have to practice. Reading a script from paper or starting to memorize and then turning toward the camera and looking and turning to, that takes practice. Using bullet points takes practice. Off the cuff takes practice. What's the bottom line? It takes practice. Let's just sum it up this way. The best scripting style for you, or the best presenting style for you, is the one that matches your personality, your tech comfort, and the stage of confidence you have on camera. But guaranteed, it takes practice. And don't be afraid of it. And don't compare someone else's end game with your start game. Start messy, start bad, but do it. Pick your style and do it. Or try all 4 styles and see which one works best for you. I've done word-for-word teleprompting, and I've done bullet style, and those are the 2 that I tend to lean toward, and I kind of have a hybrid of the 2 of them, as you may have guessed. You have to compare. The most control and the least spontaneity is a teleprompter. Control and comfort and low tech is a paper script. Balance of structure and personality is bullet points. And the most personality and the least structure is off the cuff. You don't have to pick one and stick with it forever. You simply have to pick one and work at it and do it. And that's all I got to say about that. Which one are you? I'd love to know which one you are most comfortable with. Put a notice down in the corner, put a notice down in the comments. I'd appreciate that. And by the way, my name's Bill. I'm at the FRNC. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you'd prefer, or subscribe if you'd like. I'd appreciate it very much. And I want you to make a home on YouTube. Check this one out next.